Oh, of course, finally, Georges St-Pierre. Hello, George.
Hey, guys, do you hear me?
Let me see. Is this on a cell phone?
Oh, my God, I thought I lost my cell phone. I was looking everywhere. It wasn't my car. It was not in the gym. I was freaking out. Oh, my God.
No, listen, when you feel you lose your phone, it's the worst feeling in the world. I thought that happened to me the other day. I left it in my buddy's car, and I was beside myself, and it's really sad.
Oh, no, I'm really sorry. We make more time after, if you don't mind. I'll stay longer. I'm so sorry, man. I really apologize.
Nah, George, no problem, man. I'm happy. I wish you were in studio. Weren't you just in New York? Are you're going to be? I know you're going to be working a lot with John Danaher in these upcoming weeks.
Wait a second. This is Matt Serra. I didn't know. I knew I had an interview. They didn't tell me it was with you. What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, God, George, I miss you, man. I was hoping, because I know you're in the city so much, that working with our buddy John Danaher, that I was hoping you'd be in studio.
Oh, man. But next time I come, I'll go. But now I'm in Montreal right now.
Well, we're definitely going to keep you to that. But how's things, man? I'm so excited, as is everybody, that you're coming back, man.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Finally, the discussion, the negotiation works well, and I'm very happy, you know.
What made you want to come back at middleweight? Just an easier cut, or did you want to fight sooner than Tyron Woodley would have been able to?
Well, look, the truth is this, okay? When we first started the negotiation, Wonder Boy was already scheduled to fight Woodley, and it's actually John Danaher that make me think of it. He says, "Why don't you go against Michael Bisping? It's now you have time to gain weight, and it's a new challenge. Wonder Boy is your friend. He's fighting Woodley." I was like, it was a perfect opportunity, and I saw it as a good opportunity because I want to make history. You know, I wanted to do something that at that time never been done. I wanted to get the 2 titles. And then after, the discussion started to fight Bisping in Canada. And during that time, Wonder Boy and Woodley fought. They made a draw, so they had to fight again. So that's why I'm fighting Bisping, you know. And he's a guy. He's a guy to beat. He's a guy whose the stocks is the highest right now. He's the biggest draw right now.
And you've been out for a little over 3 years, since I think November of 2013. What kind of sparked your decision to come back? And were any health issues that kept you out, have they been resolved?
No, the thing is, I always wanted to come back. It was the back of my head. I was not happy the way the sport was when I stopped at the time. I was, I believe it's like a triangle. You're physical, emotional, and mental. If one of these 3 things doesn't work well, it affects your performance, you know. And for me, I had problem mental and physical. I was tired. I was drained. You know, carrying a title, it's a lot of weight on your shoulder. People, they don't realize there's only a few people that can understand that. It's hard to be champion. It's even harder to stay champion. Believe me on that. And I had a lot of pressure. I was, the problem with the performance enhancing drug at the time. So I was just tired. I felt I felt a little bit like claustrophobic, so to speak. And the time I took off was very good. Things has improved a lot in the sport. And now I feel I'm in my prime, so I don't want to waste my prime. I love the sport, and I want to go back and make history.
Now, George, one of the things that I've been thinking about this, you fighting at middleweight. And I don't remember who exactly I can't quote exactly who said it, but I believe it was when you were working at Jackson's and you were sparring with a lot of middleweights. As far as with the feet the floor, like, you know, John Danaher says you're an expert at the shoot box. Does that give you confidence that you worked with a lot of bigger dudes and maybe you feel confident putting them down? Like you had good sparring sessions with a lot of, respected middleweights?
Yeah, I spar with middleweight. I spar with light heavyweight too. I even spar with heavyweight sometimes, but the thing is, at the time we were doing it. I don't believe if the guy are heavier, they're better. I don't believe that. The only thing why we don't do it so often is because some freak accident can happen when you slip or because the weight of difference. Doesn't mean the guys are better. They might hit harder. They might have more weight, carry more weight. It's an advantage, but doesn't mean they're better. And I was doing very well. The problem is just the injuries. It could have the chance of injuries, especially during practice, because if you fight a middleweight or a bigger guy, you need to spar with a bigger guy to recreate the same environment. that's why I was not very a big fan of doing it. But now is the perfect timing to do it. I have time to gain a little bit of weight as much as I can, yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen. I'm very confident.
And George, how many fights do you have? Are you contracted for?
4 fights.
4 fights. Okay.
Nice.
Yes.
And do you plan on staying at middle? No, I know obviously it depends on what happens against Bisping, but are you planning on staying at middleweight, or has the thought of going back down to welterweight at some point occurred to you?
Look, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It depends what happened, and it depends of how it's gonna happen. If I feel great at middleweight, maybe I stay there. If I feel man, I'm missing. It's not good. You know, I don't feel good. Maybe I go down. Maybe there's 3 weight class I can fight at. I'm not lying to you. I'm not a big welterweight. I'm a normal size welterweight. I walk around 185, between 185 and 190. Even some lightweight are bigger than me sometimes, and I feel I could do 155. I'm not a big fan of cutting weight. I think I always prioritize my health over my performance. And by the way, I believe the new weigh-in in the morning before the fight, I think it's a bad thing, because now guys they see it as an opportunity to cut more weight. So I think it's a bad thing. I told Dana when I saw him, I don't see it as a good thing. Wow. But anyway, I think they have to change it, because one day someone will die. One day someone will die. It will affect all of us. It's very bad for your health. Should learn maybe from boxing. Maybe do a weigh-in the month before. Do a weigh-in the day before and the day of the fight, so you have a certain percentage of your mass that you cannot have, you know, and lose. So everybody will be on point, and there will not be any discrepancy of, is he a lightweight, a middleweight, or you will fight at your weight. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean so have a 1 month out one, so again, somebody can't have to, be 30 pounds over and have to cut that right before the fight if they have to weigh in a month prior.
Absolutely. It makes a big difference, and I believe it's been done. It's been done at boxing before, and I think it should be done in MMA, because one day someone will die. I mean, it's sad to say, but it's very bad. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous, and then long term, it's very bad for your body.
Well, look what happened with Khabib this weekend. I mean, that was a bummer, man. I was really looking forward to that fight with Khabib, and that weight cut hit him hard. So that's a bummer.
And also, if you do it with this way, with a weigh-in the month before the fight, guys won't be able to they will be more regulated. They won't be able to miss weight all the time, because they're gonna have to fight at their own weight class. You know what I mean? I think it would be a good initiative, but it's. Who am I? I'm the only one who think that. Maybe there's other guys. If I'm the only one to talk loud about it, I think it's never going to happen.
Well, George, you said about a month. When they weigh in a month before, I don't know, do they have to be at fighting weight, or do they have to be a certain amount of pounds over fighting weight? What's the rule on that when they weigh in a month before?
No, they have a percentage of your body mass that they're not allowed to pass. There's a certain, let's say you fight, for example, at 205, but you're not allowed to be, for example, to lose 20% of your body mass. You know what I mean? So there is a certain percentage. There is a critic percentage that it affect it could affect your well-being. It could be very dangerous. Okay. There's a certain percentage of dehydration in your body that is critical. That you can actually die if you're past that point, and it's very dangerous.
George, I seen the press conference with Michael Bisping. I enjoyed the hell out of that. First of all, him coming in late and either hungover or after an all-night bender drinking, and your banter back and forth. I think it's going to make the fight fun, to be honest with you. Did you enjoy that press conference, or does he get under your skin at all? You handled it like a professional.
Well, I don't really look, Matt. I'm going to tell you the truth, man. English is not my first language. I speak much better English than before.
Yeah.
And also, it's not that it's not my first language. I'm just not good at trash talking. Some guys are just so good. Like Charles Sonnen is amazing. Conor McGregor is amazing. I pick my fight very carefully. I cannot get into a war of words, even though I don't consider Bisping as a good trash talker. I think he's horrendous. I think he's terrible. He's not even good at trash talking. the only thing he's doing the best thing for me. The more he talks, the more he embarrasses himself, you know. So I don't really care. But some guys I like, for example, like Conor McGregor or Charles Sonnen, I would never be able to get into a war of word with them because they're just so good. But Michael Bisping, he think he's good, but he's terrible. You know, everything he says doesn't make sense. And the more he opens his mouth, the more he embarrasses himself. So for me, it's a good thing.
That's so good.
Well, that was a pretty good response.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great.
And George, you mentioned 3 weights. Now, obviously, middleweight, welterweight. What was the other way? Were you thinking of going lightweight or 155?
Yeah, I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it to lightweight. My coach Ferraz told me a long time ago. He said, "Why don't you fight lightweight? Why don't you fight lightweight? Why don't you fight lightweight?" He keep bugging me, telling me that I should fight lightweight if I want to make a super fight. I said, I never tried it, but I'm pretty sure it would be easy to do because a lot of the lightweight guys are my size, you know, when they off season.
George, one of the things that stood out, and I think it's an unfair criticism of you, and Bisping said it the other day, some other guys said it, and they say, "Oh, George, you're a great athlete, but you're not a fighter. That's the difference. You're not a fighter." I think that's very unfair. Now, let me tell you something. I've seen fights. First of all, I mean, I could name your fight with BJ Penn where he got you bloodied up and you came back to win the next 2 rounds. Your fight with Carlos Condit when he kicked you in the head and you had to survive that and come back. Your fight versus, what's the other one I'm thinking of?
Matt Serra?
No. Well, yeah, when you kicked my ass. No, it's not that.
Johny Hendricks too. He punched me in the 5th round. I came back hard. You know, I've shown it through my career. The thing is, I believe that I show a lot of heart through a lot of my fight. A lot of the fight that I had, I dominate most of the round, all the rounds. But if you're winning a fight, it's up to the other guy to take a chance to open up, to make himself available for an open up to win the fight. No. If you're winning and everything goes well, it's the art of war, my friend. If everything goes well, you keep doing what you're doing. If you're winning that fight, in America, sometimes we don't understand that because in our culture, a lot of guys they go see a bloodbath or a slugfest. But if you go in Asia, they understand that very well. It's the principle of the art of war. You know what I mean? If I'm losing a fight, if the fight is tight, I need to open up. I'm gonna have to take risk, and I need to open up, and I'm aware of it. But a lot of the guys that I've fought, I would say I beat them mentally before that I beat them physically in a fight. So they accept the defeated even before the end of the fight. So that's why the fight, I got a lot of criticism being boring because the guy, they didn't open up to me. And I was just winning. If I'm winning a fight and everything goes well, it's up to my opponent if he's losing to open up and create opportunity. Me, if I'm winning, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm winning. You know what I mean? I'm doing very well. You know what I mean? That's a real strategy of fighting. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, and if you don't do it that way, most of guys that don't do it this way, they have a very short career and their health is not very good at the end of their career.
Well, I think that has to do with a lot of your success. I mean, again, I said it before with John Danaher saying, he says it, George is a master of the shoot box. That's what he says. When I used to spar, I used to call it feet the floor. But from closing, you have a very good, and I felt it firsthand, especially in our second fight, you have a very good sense of closing that distance, and your timing on your takedowns is just uncanny. It's just so on point. Like, for instance, when we were fighting our second fight and you have a very good jab. You were jabbing me in my head. There's times in sparring when I let guys jab my head and I wait like it's bothering me and then I get close and I fire off a right hand. When you're jabbing me in my head, I remember being like, all right, keep doing it. I'm going to get you. And then I threw the right hand and you shot exactly when I tried to hit you. And I was just like, shit.
Well, Matt, the main reason is that happened is because you knocked me out in the first fight, so I knew your right hand was very dangerous, so I was aware of it.
Well, I'll tell you, George, I mean, people, they bring up the first fight a lot, but, hey, listen, as far as I'm concerned, we have a clean slate because you got me back in Canada, my friend, and you were on point in that second fight. And at my very best, I feel in that fight, I might have went the distance, but I feel like you were just so on point. You outfought me, and you were phenomenal in Canada, buddy.
But thank you. We both have our day. We both have our days.
We have. That's right. We have a clean slate now. We both had good days in there with each other.
Yes, exactly.
And George, have you seen Hendricks move up to 185? And what did you think of him against Hector Lombard? How good did he look at 185? He looked very comfortable.
I think he's comfortable, but I believe the best Johny Hendricks that I've seen is gone. When he fought John Fitch, Martin Kaufman, Carlos Condit, when he fought me, I think this Johny Hendricks is gone. I didn't feel the same pop, the same explosiveness, the same... maybe he's going to prove it wrong at 185, maybe, but I feel he's not the same anymore.
Yeah, it's funny because Johnny's been on this show before, and he's just another nice guy, and I remember talking to him, being like, and I asked him, I go, Johnny, and I brought up those fights. I talked about all the guys he stopped, besides you, of course. I brought up the guys that he stopped, and I go, Johnny, you just don't look like as ferocious as you once did. I go, what's the deal? And then that's when he got into the weight cutting and whatnot. But he did look, even though he wasn't that as ferocious as he's been when he fought you and those other fights, he did look the best he's been looking lately. You know what I mean? He
looked really good at 185, better than he has in the last 3 fights.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, it's true. I agree. I guess we'll see what's going to happen next for him. If he bounces back like he was before, I believe he has the tools to go back to title contention for 185,
Did Michael Bisping winning the middleweight championship, because it's an amazing story of how he got the belt, and nobody saw this coming. Did that kind of inspire you to come back and say, I think, was he 37 when he won the belt? I mean, did that kind of make you think, hey, man, there is room for me to come back?
As much as an idiot when he's trying to trash talk me, he is, I admire him as an athlete. What he did, it was incredible, guys. He's 37, I believe. He took the fight on a short notice. Like some guy didn't want to take the fight. This guy got balls. I'm gonna tell you the truth. He did not rob the title. He won it and he deserved it. He's been very outspoken against performance-enhancing drug. Yep. He's one of the guy, I believe, from what I've heard, he didn't make a lot of money as much as he should have made, and as an inspiration, as an athlete he is, for me, I saw it a great opportunity to come back and fight him.
And you've been open in the past about ring rust and your thoughts. How do you feel after 3.5 years? How do you kind of combat that?
Well, it's not like I've been sitting on the couch for the last three and a half years. I enjoy my life. I did some other things. I love paleontology, dinosaurs. So I had a chance to travel the world, go on site, things like that. But I always stay in shape, always train. You're never gonna see me, and you're never gonna find a period of my life since. I never been fat in my life. I never been out of shape. I'm always. You see my abs. Physically I look good. Even though I go on vacation, drinking and stuff, enjoying my life, I always keep myself in shape. There's a line that I never cross.
Me too, George. No, actually, no, I can't. What are you laughing at, George? I'm only kidding. That's great. Yo, George, you're a big movie buff. I saw Logan. Over the weekend. I saw it
last night.
How great was that?
Amazing.
Did you see Logan?
I did not. I plan on seeing it tonight.
Yo, do you really? Because you're a movie guy. You're into that stuff, no?
I love the Marvels too. They're awesome.
Is that just because
my favorite was Doctor Strange so far. It was amazing.
Wait a second. What about Winter Soldier? You were in Winter Soldier. You fought Captain America.
Winter Soldier was good. Winter Soldier was all right, but I like Doctor Strange. To me, was the best Marvel movie they did. It was really good.
Now, tell me, I like Doctor Strange. I thought it reminded me a little bit of like the Matrix and kind of an Iron Man in between. What did you like so much about it? Because he wasn't my favorite character. That's why maybe I wasn't so into it like I am with Logan. But what would you like so much about Doctor Strange?
I like the charisma of. I think a lot of it has to do with the actor. I think that the actor did an incredible job. He had a lot of charisma. He's a very charismatic guy, and it's like fighting. A lot of the most popular fighters are popular because of their charisma.
Yes.
Sometimes it has to do with their performance, but it has to do way more with their charisma. If you have a good charisma, you're gonna sell the fight. Not either if you win or lose. If you have a good charisma, that's what sells, my friend.
And for a long time, we heard about GSP Anderson Silva's super fight. Now that he's fighting at middleweight, is that still possible, or do you think the time for that is past?
Ooh. It is possible. Look, the truth is this. And it is the truth. The only time I've been offered to fight Anderson Silva formally, like a real offer, was after my fight with Johny Hendricks when I retired. But it's not because it was Anderson Silva. I would not have fought nobody. You would have fought a midget of 3 foot tall. I would not even fought him. I wouldn't want to fight. I was tired. I needed to take time off. There is talk. We talk about Anderson Silva many times with Lorenzo and Dana. And what I wanted to do at the time, it was a big lineup of contender in my division. And what I wanted to do, if I would have fought him at the time, because I had to defend my title too, I would have done a catch weight, 177 with Vada, because USADA was not in place back then, and I wanted to do the Vada testing for a performance enhancing drug, but they didn't like. I think the UFC didn't really like the idea at the time. But then after I had to fight other guys, after I blew up my ACL, then a lot of guys were waiting for me to come back. Then I didn't have a time to stop. I didn't have the opportunity to.
Well, and George, how do you feel that USADA has done cleaning up the sport?
It's better than it was, but I believe USADA. The system of USADA is made to catch guy on a long term, not on a short term. It's made to catch a guy on a long term. VADA, it's made to catch guy on a short term, not on a long term. You understand that?
Yeah. What's the difference?
Some system is made to catch a guy on the long term, like USADA, because the way they take the blood and so it's good too. It's just different system.
And what's the difference in the other testing that catches you on the short term? How do they do that?
The VADA, they're going to test for certain things. It's like every sport demands different physicality. For example, if you're a guy that do Tour de France, like a bicycle, you're going to use substance like EPO and stuff like that they're going to test it for certain stuff. It's mandatory. For example, if you're a sprinter, you're going to use some drug that's going to increase your explosion, your reaction time. So in fighting, for instance, it's a lot of stuff for testosterone they use, the guy. We know it. It's not a secret. We know it. So we know that they're going to test. It's mandatory that we can tell they're going to test for testosterone and boosting for the testosterone for synthetic drug, certain synthetic drug. But USADA, you don't know. You don't know if they test for that, or you don't know if they test for weed or for cocaine. I personally don't care if my opponent smoke a joint before the fight. I hope he actually does, because it's going to help me. I care if he takes testosterone, EPO, and stuff like that. That's what I care about.
Now, let me ask you, George, are you going to be spending a lot of time in the city with John Danaher? How important is John Danaher going to be in this camp? Because that guy is, I call him the evil genius. He really is got a unique mind, and I know he plays such a role. Are you going to be here in the city a lot?
I call him Supreme Master.
The guy's brilliant.
Like in Star Wars.
Yes, exactly.
I'll be there like every month. I come very often drilling. Training with the squad,
Yes, definitely. Well, listen, I can't wait. We're going to have, before the fight, when is the fight scheduled? Do we know?
Has it no dates been announced,
date.
Right?
All right.
Are you looking towards maybe the summer? I'm guessing are they going to use that as the bigger?
I believe will be more after the summer. I believe will be more after the summer, because I need to gain some weight. A lot of things I need to do through the USADA. A lot of stuff need to be done before. So I'm going to start right now a diet. I'm waiting to have the program. I'm going to try to gain as much weight as possible. I might be able to gain 5-10 pounds of muscle mass. We'll see. And so I want to make it right. It's a new turnaround for my career. I want to make it right. I want to make history. I'm planning to do it well. Fighting is not about who got the biggest balls. It's not about that. Sometimes it's about choice that you make in your life. and things like that. You know, it's not about who make the more noise. By fighting, if you want to be successful in this racket, you need to be smart and do the right choice at the right time.
Was and before we let you go, what was Bisping your first choice of a fight, or were there other options that were kind of put before you and you chose Bisping?
I wanted to fight Tyron Woodley at one time, but he got scheduled to fight Wonderboy. Even Tyron put some text message between. I don't know why he put the text message between me and I talking, because he texted me, said, "Would you fight me?" I said, "Yes, I would fight you." But then he put it in public, and people were like criticizing, "Oh yeah, they tried to make up a fight. They friend." I'm like, "I'm not friend. We just, you know." He asked me. He had my number. He asked me if I want to fight him. I said, "Yeah, I would fight him." But then it didn't work out. Wonderboy is a friend of mine, good friend of mine. He stepped in and he had the fight, so I was very happy for him, and I thought it was a great opportunity. So I said, you know what, he's going for a welterweight title. I'm going to go for a middleweight title.
What did you think of the Woodley Thompson fight? It was a bit of a controversial decision. People kind of split down the middle how they felt it went. What did you think?
So where I was, we were six guys watching the fight. We all thought Wonderboy won 3 of the 5 rounds, but the round that have been win the more decisively is the one that Tyron Woodley won. So he could go either way, you know, the way depend the way you see it. For sure, Wonderboy is a friend of mine, so I see every round when it goes decision, I see every round like a new fight. Every round is like a fight. I believe Wonderboy won 3 fights in 3 of those 5 fights, but the one that Tyron Woodley won was very decisive.
Yeah. And also I think the other round he won is when he had him on the ground too. So any damage inflicted seemed to be done by Woodley.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we're really psyched that you're back, and you sound great. Like, you sound really ready to go, and you sound very mentally healthy. So come in and see us. We would love to have you in studio when you're in New York. We're here twice a week.
Definitely, man. Or maybe I'll see you down at Henzo's too. I'll be popping in over there too, George.
Awesome, man. Take good care, man, and I'm glad talking to you guys. Sorry again for I'm late, man. I really apologize.
Don't apologize, buddy. Thank you so much for talking, Georgie. I'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Take care, buddy.
What a nice guy.
He's always a nice guy.
But he sounds very healthy mentally.
It always bothered me when people would it was like it was like a compliment, but then I love you and I hate that Canadian. I'm like, yo, come. And this is him. This is George. He's been like that from day one. He's just been a nice dude.
Well, I was the one who said that I don't need to see him fight again. But after hearing the way he sounds right now, he sounds really great and very, very clear. Like, now I really want to see him fight.